Hello, Grey Cat Blue. Can you hear me okay? Hi, everyone. Oh, sorry, I think everyone is starting to join now. Apologies about that. My internet decided to have a bit of a lag for a moment. Hope you're all okay. Hope you can hear me loud and clear. My microphones are unmuted. There's Mark. Hi, Mark. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, a few of you are starting to come in now. So we'll just give things a few minutes for everybody to join back in. The Urban Ghosts, hello again, nice to see you. And Keith Roberts, hi Keith, how are you doing? Got a bit of a butterfly of the week for you shortly, Keith. Yeah, good, few people all joining now, which is great. Mark, yes, all okay, good stuff, nice to hear you, Mark. Comics Gal, good, I can hear things now, brilliant, thank you for joining us. Leeds van den Hoven, hello all, hello. How are you doing? Let me know where you're all joining from. A few of our regulars, Grey Cat Blue, I know, is joining from France. Yeah, I'm wondering if we'll see 90% native from across the pond over in the States. But yeah. And Golden, hi Anne, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us, Anne. UK Amphibians, good to see you back. Thanks for joining. So yeah, we'll just give things a few minutes for everybody to join in. Apologies if there was a bit of a miscommunication at the beginning. My internet decided to have a dropout, so just as I was trying to go live. So yeah, I had to kind of end the stream and start again. So apologies about that. But hopefully, yeah, it's all streaming okay now, which I think we are, which is great. So yes, got lots in store for you today. Where do I start really? Lots been happening, lots been going on over the last couple of weeks. Comics Gal is joining us from New England. Brilliant. Fantastic. Another joiner from over the pond. And I'm sorry, is it Leeds or Ilse van den Hoven? I'm sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. Amsterdam. Fantastic. Nice to know you were joined from over there. We've had people from all over the world join us, of course, over the last few sessions. So, yeah, really nice to see some international followers. Fantastic. And Lynn is on. Hi, Lynn. Yeah, how are you doing, Lynn? Yeah, sorry if the first stream was a bit hit and miss, Lynn. Anyone who's just joining now, my internet had a bit of a moment, as they do. It was all fine up until the day, which is good. Yes, so Spencer said, "Hooray!" Yes, fantastic, good. No, thank you. All right, welcome. I think that's Rebecca. Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. So yes, got a lot, and Mel has joined. Actually, hi Mel, nice to see you again. Mel, I've known for a little while on Twitter, and of course, if you haven't been following me on Twitter, Instagram, the usual streams, and lots of sort of varied content, slightly different to the YouTube channel, of course, on there. So do give us a shout on there if you are on there. It'd be good to see you. Okay, yes. So, what do I have in store for you all today? Well, luckily for you, I've been making a couple of short videos on some of the case studies I've been doing over the last few years. And so I'd like to share those with you so we can go through a few of the sort of things I've been putting into gardens over the last 5 to 6 years. Just 2 case studies, so I've got a couple of 5-minute videos I'm going to show you. So we'll start with one, and then, I'll show you that, and then we can have a few questions, a bit of Q&A on that if you've got anything you'd like to ask. There's a few videos and photos of the installation of these gardens, and then a few after shots. So yes, plenty of stuff to go through with those. So I've got 2 case studies on that. So yeah, we shall do that. And also we're going to be looking at butterfly of the week. Little bit of a dip in the weather since last time. It was lovely last time, lovely weather, but yeah, it's gone a bit sort of grey and overcast and wintry and cool again over the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I don't know about you, but it's not been quite as warm outside, certainly. I've had a few testing times with the weather over the last week. But hey, spring is marching towards us. Primroses are out now in the UK. I've had primroses out in the garden now for the last week or so. And there's, a lot more sort of things popping up. I've seen the first one or two cowslips, which are just coming to flower. Probably my favourite spring flower. They just are a real sort of harbinger of spring for me. They're fantastic. So cowslips, yeah, good one. I shall be doing a video on those soon once they come out a little bit more and I can get some good shots for you, of course. Yeah, Debbie's just joined in. Hi, Debbie. Nice to see you again. Thanks for coming back. Yes, so lots to talk about. Yeah, so a couple of case studies, butterfly of the week, and then obviously the usual Q&A. So in between, do fire your questions at me and I'll do my best to answer them in between the various bits and bobs. So I think we will get rolling now. There's about 30 of you on, which is brilliant. Nice to see you. Thanks for giving up your Sunday. Well, part of it anyway, and joining me again, which is wonderful to see so many of you obviously keen and enthusiastic about gardening for wildlife, which of course is the whole point of me starting the channel back in April last year. So yes, very good to see you all. Thank you for joining me. And Chasey's just come in. Yes, not good weather, set to stay cool. Yeah, well, I haven't checked the forecast for this week, but thanks for that, Tracy. I might just stay inside for the week. No, too much to do. Can't hang around. Lots of projects on at the moment. So, yes, Grey Cat Blue said weather here has been very windy. Cowslips in our garden. Brilliant. Yeah, I'm assuming they've been out for a few days now, perhaps because you are, of course, a bit further south climatically in northern France, so northwest France. So yes, obviously where you are in the climate basically will depend on where you are, of course, geographically. Even in the UK, from kind of London up to Yorkshire, you can expect probably a 3, sometimes 4 week difference depending on whereabouts you are in the country in terms of flowering periods. So quite often flowers are coming out in the north as those same flowers are already going over in the south. So yeah, quite interesting to see that you've already got some cowslips out in sunny France, hopefully, which is nice. Claire Barnes has said, hi Joel, I have a buddleia that needs to be moved. Have you ever transplanted one before? Any tips? Yeah, so buddleias, I will be coming on to buddleias a bit more. Of course, it's coming up for a good time, in my opinion, to start pruning buddleias. And what I usually do, I've got 6 or 7 in the garden, and the big twisty curly branches you can see there are of my giant buddleia, for those of you that know the garden. So yes, they are a wonderful plant, obviously, for nectar. And what I tend to do, because I've got 7 or 8, is I stagger the pruning periods. So I maybe do, one week, one the next, so that basically you then have a prolonged nectar source for a lot of the butterflies and moths and everything in between that are going to use these plants, so that not all your nectar is coming out at one point. So if you've got 2 or 3, then I would recommend staggering them anytime from now. I cut as late into April with some of them, just to give, again, that later summer flower for a lot of the insects. So yes, but transplanting them, I would say yes. You might just be able to get away with doing it up until the end of March. But if you're doing it, do it before it gets too dry and gets much warmer. So I would definitely say with that one, Claire, just get the spade in the ground, get it moved now if you can, and obviously just make sure your hole is dug before you transplant it, and you're not chopping through too many roots. If you chop through too many roots, it can knock them back, of course. So try and get as much of the root ball up as you can and get it straight in the ground. Don't leave it outside for the wind, particularly at the moment. It's so windy. Any wind is going to really dry those roots off quite quickly. So yeah, get it in the ground as soon as you can, which is my advice to you. Hope that helps. Yes, so Keith has said his primrose is only just coming into flower. Yeah, well, say, Keith, mine are just, they've been out a few days now, but yeah, early days yet. Shantu Vine said, you are mad. Thanks for that. Not sure what that's referring to, but cheers. Ian said, first shrubs to wake up for me in Belfast are my Philadelphus Deutzia, followed by the Buddleias, all in 50-litre pots. Whoa, that's a hefty pot, Ian. Hope you don't have to move house anytime soon. Thinking about planting as a garden hedge this year after 2 years in pots. Yeah, why not, Ian? And now is as good a time as any. If they're potted, of course, a lot of plants you can just plant, almost any time of the year. It just becomes an issue once we get into the warmer weather and things start drying out a bit. So yes, if you've got potted plants, then do get them in the ground now. It's a good time for them to sort of get their roots down and really sort of push out and get plenty of leaf on the go. Bruno, I thought I said Bruno Mars for a minute. Bruno Mars, I hope I've said that right. Hi, Bruno, from Brazil. First ever subscriber, I'm hoping, from Brazil. Nice to see you, Bruno. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully, we might be able to teach you a thing or two, all of you actually. By the time the hour is up, you might have learned something, hopefully. And Rebecca has said, I've noticed sparrows seem to prefer twiggy hedges to hang out in rather than larger leaved hedges. What are some good options for a shrub rather than a hedge for sparrows? Privet, any others? Privet, yeah, absolute classic for the house sparrow. This, of course, we're referring to. Tree sparrows as well, but of course they're more of a countryside bird now in the UK. But house sparrows, yeah. So privet is a really good one. Pyracantha, they love dense cover. Anything with dense cover, really. I mean, mine live in my big buddleia, which is quite dense now. It's probably about 20 years old, at least. But hawthorn as well is another good one for them. So yes, plenty. As long as it's dense cover, you know, they will hang out in almost anything. I've seen them hang out in ivy on the side of a wall before. Really dense ivy that's kind of come out maybe a foot 18 inches off the side of the wall. That's nice. You know, they'll roost in that, no problem at all. But anything that's kind of dense cover for them really will be very attractive. Yes, so I think we have about plateaued off now, so I'll come back to questions in a moment. But bit of a roundup, I guess, as to what's been happening my end, what I've been up to. So hopefully some of you will have seen the frog spawn video that I did recently, which seems to be doing quite well on the channel. A lot of people have been watching that. A lot of people have been commenting saying they have had frog spawn or they haven't. So if you haven't seen that, do check it out. There's some tips on there as to how you can attract frog spawn into your garden. Obviously, this stuff just doesn't walk in on legs and drop into your pond. You have to encourage the frogs in first. So yeah, do have a look at that video if you haven't seen it already. What else are we doing? Project in London is going well. For those of you that have seen the London Wildlife Garden transformation videos, I've done 2 of those now. I'm kind of doing little updates as I go. There'll be another one coming this week, and they are proving quite popular. I think a lot of people liking to see the progress of this garden. Of course, it turns out as a bit of a swamp. And then the snow hit, of course, in February, but it's getting there now. We've got most of the fencing in. We've got pathways starting to go in now. We've got all sorts coming up, so stay tuned on that one. But in between that and another job in Hitchin in Hertfordshire at the moment. So yeah, long miles. And a bit of exciting news. Yeah, I've actually got some TV work coming up on Tuesday. All I can say about that is I will be filming for one of 5 main channels, shall we say, here in the UK. So which should be aired in about early April or middle of April, I think. Not quite sure yet. So I'll keep you posted on that one. Nice little piece I'm doing on a specific migrant from Africa. I'll leave you with that. I'm sure it doesn't leave you with many options to choose from, but that's all I can say at the moment. So yes, that's on Tuesday this week. I've got lots of stuff coming up. I've got loads of jobs coming in, lots of inquiries. So good, yeah. Lots to do at the moment. And I've just collected a new member of the team. Don't worry, I'm not keeping him or her in a cardboard box in my cupboard or anything. This is an inanimate object, which I will reveal to you shortly, which is going to help me massively in all the projects that I'm undertaking up and down the UK. So, busy time. Yeah, March is always very busy for me. I've got a meadow to seed in Norfolk. I've got lots of ponds to do, lots of projects all over. So very, very busy. So yes, a bit of a recap for you there as to what's been happening. But do stay tuned to the channel. I've got lots of videos coming up. And I have been, as per the post, if you've seen it recently, making some bird boxes. So I have got some instructional videos for you on making bird boxes, in particular robin, blue tit and great tit, coming up soon. I'm hoping I can get one of those out by the end of the evening here in the UK today. For you to watch, and yes, lots more on that to come. Also, I've got some coppice management videos coming up. We're coming towards the end of coppicing season now, but I've finally got around to doing 1 or 2, so I could make a video on it. So yes, lots coming up on the channel, so do stay tuned. As I say, if you haven't subscribed already, then do so and switch on the notification bell, and you will get obviously a notification then as to when I post my latest video. Anyway, enough about me. I'm sure you would like to hear a few more things. So, and I thought I would just drop in conversation early on. I I was bought this book by my very good other half the other week, which is something that I'm yet to go through. However, I've flicked through it and it looks absolutely fantastic, and it does ring true to a lot of the stuff I kind of preach about, if you like, when it comes to herbaceous borders. Because this chap, William Robinson, he was kind of the one that steered us away in kind of the 19th century, steered us away from the traditional styles of gardening, if you like. So, you kind of your formal box hedging, rose plantations, and that sort of stuff. He really was the pioneer for mixed herbaceous borders. So the planting schemes that I plant today in back gardens for nectar borders, for pollinators and everything of the sort, they really owe a lot to this man, William Robinson, as I say. So, yeah, a fantastic book, no doubt. So if you haven't seen this before, I'd strongly recommend it. There's tons of stuff in there as to, group planting. Obviously, we don't plant plants, herbaceous perennials, in ones and twos, generally speaking, in the gardening world, not necessarily wildlife gardening world, but throughout the landscaping industry. Most people do plant in sort of threes or fives in odd numbers to create nice blocks, which creates a kind of a more naturalistic approach to planting schemes. And of course, a big ambassador for this is Piet Odoff, who's I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, who is an incredible guy who's done many a planting scheme for many big jobs, and some amazingly beautiful landscapes he has created just with plants. I mean, I'm talking huge gardens filled with plants, but in a very specific manner and a very artistic way as well. So if you haven't seen his stuff, do check him out. I'd love to one day meet him, hopefully. But yes, William Robinson, if you haven't heard of him, do have a Google of him. It's a fantastic book. Looking forward to getting stuck into that. Probably be about Christmas time when I get around to reading that, but hey, I will get to it. So I thought I would just leave you with that thought for if you're looking to buy a book for anyone, or indeed yourself. Why not? It's a good thing to do. So I'm just going to catch up on the questions for 5 minutes now, and those of you that didn't catch the start of the broadcast, I'm going to be showing you a couple of videos on some of the projects that I've been doing over the last few years, which I've finally got around to editing, which are kind of before and after in a 5 minute little video. So we're going to watch a couple of those, and then obviously talk through some of the bits and bobs that I've put into those gardens, some of the specific habitats, and obviously feel free to fire away any questions once you've seen it. So I'm just going to catch up on the chat very briefly. So Ian said, I also have some 57 litre fabric air pruning pots that I'm testing on the roses. Any thoughts? I've not actually used any of those, Ian, although I'm assuming you mean the kind of decomposing fabrics that you can just plant straight into the ground with the plant in it, which of course do work. Many people do that. There are some netting options, which I'm sure you're not talking about, which have wire netting around the root ball, which is more of a bare root thing up until the end of March, with Hessian then some wire netting. And I've seen, unfortunately, some people leave the wire netting on in those and then put them in the ground, and then the tree's gone to be moved later on, and the roots have just kind of grown into all the wire. Yeah, so don't leave any wire on any of your bare root stuff if it comes to any, of course. So Claire has said, thanks so much. I was nodding like you could see me. I wish I could, Claire. No, it'd be a lot nicer if I could interact with you all face to face. I am really missing a lot of the live events that I have been doing up until COVID, of course. So yes, it'd be nice to meet you all one day, no doubt. Spencer has said, I like Buddleia wariana orange flowers for a long time. Yeah, it's a good one, Spencer. Yeah, I do like that one. The globosa is good as well, which has these lovely little yellow balls on, which is a great June flowering Buddleia, which is really good for about the emergence time of the peacock butterfly, which is a really good nectar source for them. And Bruno has come back from Brazil and said, can we make a garden like yours in Brazil? Absolutely, Bruno. The idea is that this channel is out there to help you guys make a wildlife garden wherever you are around the world. So I'm happy to kind of do as much of the legwork as I can for you to help you with these sorts of things, of course. in between all the other things I've got going on. But you know, if you want to ask me some questions, Bruno, then do drop me an email. And anybody who hasn't got the email already, if you just drop it through to wildyourgarden@gmail.com, or the Hazelwood website, which is hazelwoodlandscapes.com, which is my main landscaping site with, of course, all the case studies on. So, you know, there's contact page on there. So, yeah, do get in touch, Bruno. I'd be interested to see what you've got and see if we can't encourage some more wildlife into your garden, whether that's in the form of nectar, cover for birds, you know, ponds for dragonflies and everything else, you know, and amphibians. So, yes, there's certainly ways to do it, Bruno. So, just because you're in Brazil, I'm not saying you'll get the exact same palette of flowers that we use over here, but of course, you know, we'll get your own beautiful species, no doubt. So Mel has just said, just found a hedgehog nest underneath my pyracantha. So happy with that. Fabulous, Mel. I mean, who wouldn't want a hedgehog nest in their garden? Brilliant. Yeah, well, make sure you leave that one alone until they come out. They will be coming out soon, of course. I've not seen any hedgehogs out yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, if any of you have. Tracy has said, me too, Claire, and me three, Claire. So, oh, you all nodding. Yeah, no, I can picture you all nodding away. Jenny has said, hello, everyone from cold and windy northeast UK. Hi, Jenny. Northeast, I'm guessing, are you Northumberland way? North Yorkshire, Northumberland way? Do let me know. Keith has said, I'm guessing painted lady butterfly. Ah, no, well, I'm assuming this is to butterfly of the week. Not quite, Keith. Keep guessing. I'm going to keep you waiting on that one a little bit longer. Yeah. Debbie said, look forward to seeing the bird box video. Yes, should be up soon, Debbie. Full how-to on that one. Took me a little while to film with the wind I had the other day up in sunny/rainy/Hayley, Cheshire, where I was filming the job. So, yeah. Spencer said, I bought some bog pimpernel to hide the edge of the pond. Have you got any experience of it? Do you rate it? Yeah, no, I've not used it that much, Spencer. It's a lovely plant. I'm sure you will have much fun time with it. Yeah, do let me know on that one, how you get on with it. So Bruno has said top. Yeah, no, I'm assuming, yeah. Do get in touch, Bruno. Be nice to hear from you. KLCPCA, nice to see you. Yeah, joining us from the States, near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Fantastic. So I'm guessing, what is it over there? Probably 9:30 in the morning. So thank you for getting up early, maybe, on a Sunday and joining us. Rebecca said, William Robinson, his garden, Gravetime Manor. Yes, is now a luxury hotel, hoping to visit one day as the gardens are still managed in its style. Absolutely, yeah, it's in the book. I need to read that chapter a bit more. But yeah, I'd love to get to see the manor house there and the gardens, yeah, which are dedicated to him, as you say, which would be a wonderful place to go and visit. So yes, at some point, who knows, maybe I'll do a little tour for you, a little video on that. Tracy said, pond plant ideas for small ponds, please. Thanks. Crikey, Tracy, how long have you got? Well, yeah, this time, of course, marsh marigolds are going to come out very soon. Small ponds. Okay, so maybe not water soldier, but things like water mint, you will have to chop it back. It's a bit of a brute, but necessity for any pond. Same with purple loose strife. Hemp agrimony gets a bit big, so stick it at the back where it's not going to shade the pond if you're going to put some in. But of course, ragged robin, cuckoo flower, brook lime, bog bean, so many. Fringed water lily is good as well, Tracy, but yes, maybe we'll come on to a few more pond plants later on. I hope that gives you a few ideas, and do drop me a comment below, Tracy, and we'll carry on the convo with that one. Right, well, before I get carried away with comments for the next 10 minutes, I'll stop at Tracy. I'll come back to the comments shortly. I'm just going to attempt, fingers crossed, to share with you my first project, which I said I would be sharing with you, which is a garden that I did up in Yorkshire. And that's, see, KLC PCA said actually it's 11:30 am. Oh, brilliant. Daylight saving time just started. Oh, good stuff. Not too early for you then. Right, so okay, this is the first project I'll be showing you of the two. And this one is in Yorkshire. It's just outside of a city called Leeds, which some of you I'm sure will know. And it is one that I created about 2 years ago now, but I was managed to go back last year to film it afterwards. And so I am going to show you now that in all its glory. So, let's have a look. Okay, so I'm just going to mute my mic and I will be back with you guys shortly. Okay, guys, so hopefully, yeah, that was the first project I've got to show you. Gives you a bit of an idea of what went into that garden. So I'm just going to jump down the chat a little bit to any questions that might be coming in. Let's have a look. So, yeah, it was a lovely garden. It was one that, as I say, the brief was pretty much to get as much wildlife in as possible, of course, but the way we did that was by creating a series of pathways around the edge so that the access was there all year round, a little meadow in the middle, and then there was a little wildlife pond as well, which was wonderful to see. And of course, you saw the frogs coming into that pretty much almost straight away. Within a couple of weeks they were there. We had some messages come through saying, yep, frogs are here. Great, thanks for that. So, yeah, no, it's really nice to see. And of course, the meadow came into its own really, really quickly. A lot of herbaceous borders there. You saw things such as the Verbena bonariensis. There's some echinacea in there, some rudbeckia in there. Lots and lots of stuff. Lavender, marjoram. Yeah, loads went into the herbaceous borders. So, yeah, let's just have a see. A few of you have got some questions coming in now. Yes, Ils van den Hoven said, "What a lovely garden." Thank you. Yeah, it's such a great feeling to go back and see them when they're in full fruition and they're sort of coming. You know, it's so nice designing something like this, but then to see it actually transpire into a real live thing and a living product is absolutely brilliant. And of course, then when the wildlife comes in, it's just the icing on the cake. Mel says, "Love the transformation, much better." Yeah, well, it was lovely. I mean, there was some stuff that was there existing, of course, but it was nice to see what came in, and what we could do with it once the existing structure was just kind of tweaked a little bit. Suzanne said, "Love seeing these makeovers you do. Do you still work with your brother?" No, I don't actually, Suzanne. No, Jim left a while ago now. So yeah, it's been a funny year, but yeah, no. So I just work. I have guys, a lot of guys that work with me, and yeah, no. There's loads of projects that we've been doing that are like this that I've just been trying to update to get on the channel, but it's just been having the time. So a lot of them were filmed last year, and I'm yet to go back this year to film them once they're coming into fruition, of course, when they are looking great in the summer months. So May, June is going to be a very busy time for me with my camera. Grey Cat Blue has said, "Fantastic transformation in that garden, Joel." Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a nice project. Probably about a 4 or 5 week project, I think, with all the paving work that went in, the terracing that went around the patio because the lady is a bit uneasy on her feet. There's a lot went into that, and planning it for her so that it was all one level at the top. So it was nice and easy access for her, and of course the deck made it nice and accessible for her to get to the edge of the pond to see all the life in the pond. So yeah, really nice. I do still keep in touch with her, and it's lovely to see it develop. I saw a small tree. Which was it? I think there was a holly tree in there, if that's the one you meant, in the middle of the herbaceous border. From what I can recall, I'll have to watch it back now. If it wasn't, then let me know, and I'll have a look into it and message you after the live. So Spencer said, "Nice nectar border. How do you find the verbena coats with cold weather?" Verbena generally fine, Spencer. I don't have too many recollections of verbena being a problem or having any problems with the frost. I mean, mine are still. I haven't cut them back yet. I always cut mine back sort of end of March. So yeah, no problem with the frost at all. Usually on verbena, it's a pretty tough old plant. Clive, oh there you are, Clive. I was wondering. Sorry, Joe, didn't know you weren't on. Well, just joined. Grr, yeah, grr indeed, Clive. No worries at all. At least you can catch up, Clive, after the live. At least you did catch us. So that's brilliant. Stan has joined us again. Hello from Belgium again. Nice to see you again, Stan. Thank you very much. Stan, I still need to come back to you on your garden question you emailed in about. So I will do that, yeah, because Stan sent me some photos in of his garden, which looks great. He's planning a bit of a redevelopment. So yeah, I will come back to you on that one. Spencer Marchant said, "Hey, so we have this really ugly L-shaped courtyard. It's all concrete and slabs. We really want to change it and make it nice. Also have a 6-month-old who want to be able to have a good time. We want to be able to have a good time there." Yeah, well, any ideas? Well, how long have you got, Spencer? Yeah, So it depends, I suppose. Budget, of course, is a huge consideration when you're thinking about any transformation works, any kind of landscaping types works. Ponds you can do on a reasonably small budget with the cost of the liner and the fleece if you're doing it yourself, of course, with the plants. But once you start digging out concrete, bringing in stone and concreting it back down, and it becomes quite costly if you're not careful. So yeah, not sure on that one, Spencer. I mean, yeah, I think maybe just drop me an email on that one, Hazelwood Landscapes at hotmail.com, and yeah, maybe we can have a chat on there, Spencer. It sounds like it might be a bit more kind of forethought before I give you some ideas, just because there's a lot that goes into these designs, and a lot of forethought into how you can make it kind of aesthetically pleasing, great for wildlife. But there's a lot of considerations such as which way the garden faces, how much sun it gets, what kind of structures you've got there already. Yeah, a lot to go into. And of course, where you are. I mean, I'm assuming you're UK based, but you might be from the far-flung corners of the earth. So yes, do get in touch with me on that one. Yeah, from KLC PCA, Beautiful Transformation. Thank you. Yes. No, I will be putting it on YouTube. I've got a few more edits to do on that to make it into a full video, but I will add that to YouTube as a proper video soon. And Suzanne has said, I would love to see more transformations. I have a north-facing garden, so we have gravel and a bit of slate, trying to compensate in other areas. Yeah, plenty more to come, Suzanne. I am filming pretty much non-stop. My couple of GoPros are out on 2 different jobs at the moment, and they are full-time, filling up memory cards. So yeah, it takes me quite a while to process it all, of course. But yeah, lots more transformations to come. There's 3 or 4 that are ready to go on the channel. I've just got to pull all the info together and edit it. So yes, no problem there. So we have gravel and a bit of slate. Yeah, well, try obviously species that are going to grow and seed naturally within gravelly areas. So things like lavender, although if you say it's north facing, they'll want the sun. Hopefully you can pull them away from the house enough so that they get a bit of sun, even in the winter time. So lavender, marjoram, verbena bonariensis, they're all plants that will grow very well in sort of well-drained areas, should we say. They will just almost grow in the gravel and seed themselves. Another good one is honesty. Honesty is really good for the shade. Also a larval food plant for the orange tip butterfly, my favourite butterfly, just it. And yes, so they are a good one for the larval food plant, and of course for the adults, for nectar. Honesty is a really good plant. Biennial, of course, so it won't flower until the following year once you plant it, if it's only in its first year, of course. But if you're buying it from a garden centre, then yeah, you should be able to hopefully have some success with the flower actually coming up this year, fingers crossed. So honesty is a really good one for shade. But also foxglove, red campion, nettleleaf, bellflower, they're all plants that will do really well. Red valerian even will go in shade as well, so no problem there. We've just got a load of comments coming at once, so my internet must have just loaded. So Comic Scal said, what is typically used for pond liners? Oh, we've got a little robin live. Can you see? Yeah, it was just down there. Yeah, no, nice to see a robin. Keep your eye on that part of the garden. There's quite often blackbirds, robins, house sparrows, dunnocks, all hopping around down there. So Comic Scal said, what is typically used for pond liners in the UK? Well, normally, I mean, if you're going best of the best like I do, like a rubber butyl liner, a 1mm liner is usually the best thing to use. You put them in, as long as you cover them up with a fleece and then the subsoil, same methods I do, they should last indefinitely. So, yeah, I hope that helps on that one. Debbie says, love your transformations. Thank you, Debbie. Owen, nice to see you, Owen. Love watching you building and transforming ponds. Going to have a go at doing a small pond myself. Top man. Yeah, lots of ponds being made at the moment on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Fantastic to see so many of you. They are the best thing, without a shadow of a doubt, you can do for wildlife in your own garden. I promise you that. So, yeah, do let me know how you're getting on with them all. Tuscan 440. I said I started my secondary. Nice to see you again. I started my secondary fence idea from your book a week ago. Looking forward to seeing it grow. P.S. My garden is L-shaped and terraced. It's a challenge, but also opportunity for something different. Well, yeah, I like terraced gardens because you can create lots of little areas within a garden and quite easily. You kind of set to a different, to different individual areas, which is not a nice challenge, I find sometimes. So, you can have maybe a meadow on one, a formal area for seating on another, a pond on another, herbaceous borders on another. Depends how many you've got, of course. So yeah, nice they are. And you know, town gardens are probably my favourite gardens to design because they are a challenge. A lot of them are small, and you're trying to fit lots of elements in. You know, so it does become quite a bit tricky. Now, a bit of info for you. I am looking to do an online course for wildlife gardening design, if any of you are interested. So, yeah, do drop me a line on that one. I've not sorted out any dates or prices or anything yet, but you know, either a half day or a full day course. So, yeah, if any of you are interested in that, then do drop me a line. Because yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that would like to know how to design and make a wildlife garden from start to finish. So yeah, that's something that I am thinking about doing this year. So let me know if any of you are interested. Do drop me an email at wildyourgarden@gmail.com. On that one, I'll be happy to add you to a list, and then of course once I get some dates and costs in mind, I can always let you know. You might not want to, but hey, a lot of people seem to be asking about that lately. So and Goldner said, stupid question, but is a coppice belt a specific type of hedge or a way of managing a hedgerow? So, Anne, yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there with the management techniques. So it's just standard shrubs, fairly sparsely placed or planted. So, you know, hazel, guelder rose, rowan, spindle, holly, wayfaring tree, all that kind of stuff, wild privet. But it's the management. So, and obviously coppicing is something that is, you know, where you cut the shrub back down to what's known as a stool. And as I say, this will be, I've done a video on this now, I've just got to get it uploaded, so watch out for that one, Anne. And that explains in full detail the history of coppicing, why it's good for wildlife and everything else, so I won't go into all that now. But yeah, really it is just about the management techniques of it. What an amazing habitat. The best thing you can do in your garden if you want to attract birds, I guarantee it. So do keep posted on that one, guys, on the video coming up shortly. Suzanne, thanks, Sean. No worries at all. Spencer said, saw something online about creating a hoverfly lagoon. Small pot of water with rotting organic matter where they can breed. Are you familiar with this? Well, yeah, I mean, there are hoverflies I've seen that do create, for the squeamish of you, rat-tailed maggots, they are called, which live underwater. They have a long breathing tube that comes out their rear end, and they actually breathe through that. So often they come up to the water with this tube that goes up to the water. So yeah, amazing animals. But I get them in my barrel ponds. So barrel ponds are really good, or little sort of tubs in the ground are really good habitats for them. A little bit of vegetation in there as well, as you say, for organic matter, and they will be in there, no doubt. So yes, yeah, nice one, Spencer. Keith said, where did you get the pin badges? Sorry, I do like them. Do you know what, Keith? Most of these, you can just get them online. They're about £1 each most of the time. You can get bird ones, dragonfly ones, bee ones, any ones you like. I'm slightly biased with the old butterflies. So, yeah, but do have a look online. Just, you know, eBay or anything that sells them online, I'm sure you'll be able to find them okay. Do get some. Yeah, it's easy to get a bit of a collection going. I've actually got somewhere a 50th anniversary one for butterfly conservation when I went to one of the AGMs, which was a nice gold one. Might be worth about £3.50 in 100 years. Lynn said, I've tried the hoverfly lagoon, Spencer, but it was a bit of a disaster. I get loads of hovers too. Yeah, well, keep trying then. As I say, I do get, maybe try a bit bigger, maybe a barrel pond, so they've got a bit more room to, you know, move around and a bit more food source potentially. Anne said she's interested in the course. Thanks, Anne. Yeah, drop me a line. Like I say, wildyourgarden@gmail.com, and yeah, I'll add you to the list of people who are interested. Thank you. UK Amphibians, congratulations, Joel, on getting 9.76 subscribers. Well done, fantastic achievement. Yeah, wow. I mean, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. Thanks to you guys, obviously. Nearly at 10,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. I feel like I ought to be offering a free pond or something. Don't take me up on that one. But yeah, quite incredible. I never thought I'd get to 10,000 subs within less than a year. I mean, I only really started putting videos on in sort of April, May last year, so phenomenal. And we're up to nearly 1.1 million views now. So thank you so much again for all the support. It really does mean the world to me. I will thank you all one day, individually, I hope, if I come in to see you and giving you some advice, no doubt, free of charge. Jenny said she'd love to do a course. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, again, just drop me an email. Anybody who's interested on that, no problem at all, and we can cover everything from initial design, planning, existing structures, how to position ponds, meadows, nectar borders, what trees and shrubs to plant, what herbaceous perennials. Basically a condensed version of my book, which if you haven't seen it, then obviously do have a look at Wild Your Garden as the book form. Mel, design asset would be good. Yeah, thank you, Mel. Yes, a few of you saying you'd like to do that. So, and Tracy said she's really well with hoverfly lagoon, really successful. Old milk base and rotting leaves added, stick for larvae to climb out. Good on you, Tracy. Yeah, thinking about everything as always. So do have a go at those ponds. Now, I'm conscious time is pressing on a little bit. It's 5 to 4 now, so I would like to just share with you my second transformation, if you like, garden transformation from a few years ago. This one is one that was featured on BBC's Gardener's World, so some of you, apologies if you've already seen it, but this is some of the clips, if you like, you won't have seen, because this is the before and during photos as well. So I'm going to just get that up now, and then I will come back to the questions again after. It's about 5 minutes, so do stay with me, and I will then, of course, come back to you guys. We'll have a bit more Q&A before we round things up with Butterfly of the Week and a bit of an announcement. So, yes, let me bring this up for you now. Okay, see you in a few, guys. Well, there you go, guys. Hopefully that was a bit of an eye-opener for you. And yeah, what a transformation that was. God, it took... Really, it was over kind of the course of a year by the time we did different seeding and planting options. But hell of a project that was. Yeah, we're kind of on it solidly for about 4 months initially, and then back to do various seeding and planting options. So yes, hell of a job. And yeah, of course, it was featured on Garden as well, which was wonderful. And some of you may have seen that. Yeah, which was really nice. Kind of a lot of the first exposure for me, really, as to TV in the UK, which was wonderful. And then people saw it kind of all over the world, which was fantastic, and I was so chuffed to have been able to be part of that. And what a process it was to plan that garden, I can't tell you. It took some doing, honestly. I mean, I was probably backwards and forwards with the clients for a month or so, just to try and get everything where we thought would work. Because once you've got a big space, it can be quite difficult to try and achieve, all the outcomes for the best possible outcome for wildlife and, of course, the client. So, yeah, a lot goes into planning one of these gardens, as I'm sure you can appreciate. And you will have seen the just the sheer amount of soil shifting that we did. That was because, for many of you that may know, then apologies, but some of you that don't know will know that wildflower meadows need poor soils to thrive effectively. So a lot of the time I strip off the topsoil, get down to the subsoil layers, but because we didn't want to sink the whole garden, effectively the topsoil had to come off. Then the same amount of subsoil came out, the topsoil went back in, and then the subsoil went back on top. So effectively we inverted the soils. Wow, yeah. And with a digger bucket that's about, 2 foot wide, and a garden that's about a third of an acre, it took a fair bit of doing, a fair bit of time, because the access was only just under a metre wide, so I could only get my little micro digger in there. However, you can see the end results, and what a worthwhile transformation that was. So, yeah, happy to take any questions you guys might have on that one. I'm just going to go back to the so back to the chat just to have a look. Let's have a look. Cool, you've been busy in my absence in 5 minutes, yeah. So Grey Cat Blue said, hi Joel, I had a 1,000 litre preformed pond liner delivered a few days ago. Hopefully not too long before it's set up. Decided to buy preformed as we get moles. Yeah, understandable. I've not had any experience with moles damaging ponds, although I could see how it could become a slight issue. I have a feeling the water pressure would keep them kind of subdued, especially with the fleece underneath. I don't think they'd like to trying to dig through that. So you should be okay. But yeah, sensible option. Clive said, Joel, I shared your YouTube channel on my Facebook. Say that this is the type of thing we need to do as it helps mental health. Couldn't agree more, Clive. I mean, I am dying to get out in the garden and just spend some time just on my own, just to enjoy life, because it can get very manic, very stressful at times. And although, I come across, hopefully, as a cheery character, it does become very, very difficult and quite often very stressful trying to manage all the jobs I do and the logistics, which of course I couldn't now manage without my other half, who looks after that for me a lot of the time. So yeah, we all need our own spaces, and anybody out there who hasn't got their own space, hopefully you've got some green space near you that you can just go and take the time out. And of course now we're coming out of the grey, we're coming out of the winter spell, if you like, the cold snaps, and spring is on the horizon. So, make sure you get outside and just enjoy life while it's here, because, spring comes and goes, and so does summer. Then we're back into autumn again, which is equally as lovely, but then it's the winter months, and it can get a bit grim at times. So I would say make the most of it. My favourite time of year is probably the second, third week in May, when everything is just lush. There's a plethora of butterflies out in the UK. You've got grizzled skipper, dingy skipper, green hair streaks, common blues, first brood coming out. You've got your orange tips, all your whites. There's so many spring butterflies. It's just a perfect time of year. So make sure you enjoy it this year, a bit like we did last year with lockdown, of course, which was lovely. Lynn said, friends as well, said Clive, which obviously help. Helps if you've got someone to talk to in any tough times. Definitely, I've found that out over the years. Lynn being one of them. Thank you for being there, Lynn. There's been a few rocky roads over the last few years, but we're still all standing, which is the main thing. Lynn said, I think my fox had something to do. Oh, live. I think we've got a robin under the chair to my right and a blackbird in the buddleia. I'm not going to move because I'll scare them, no doubt, but hopefully you can make them out. Lynn said, I think my fox had something to do with the Hofferfly Lagoon disaster trace. It kept getting overturned. Wow. Sorry to hear that. Lynn, Suzanne says, love your book. It's next to me on the sofa now. Thanks, Suzanne. Yeah, really hope it proves helpful for you. Of course, if you haven't seen it, guys, I haven't got a copy to hand, embarrassingly. Wild Your Garden, do check it out, and you should be able to get lots and lots of info in a condensed format, which will be good for making a lot of habitats. Anne said, same here, Suzanne. Oh, a few of you sitting with my book at the moment. Thank you. Just catching up. Sorry, guys. Jerry said, I think I can smell the lavender through my screen. Oh, absolutely, Jerry. I mean, it was just, you saw the amount of bees. When I was doing the interview with Francis Tophill, who's one of the presenters for Gardeners World, we were looking at the lavender. It was right at our feet. And honestly, there's 500 bees on that stretch of lavender when it's in full bloom in June. Oh man, it's just delightful. Lavender, if you haven't got a well-drained area in your garden, plenty of sun, likes it hot, get some lavender. Hidcote or Munstead are my two favourites. Absolutely just adored by bees. Butterflies as well, as you've seen, the whites love it as well. So yes, do get some in your garden. A lot of other butterflies as well. Keith wants to create a nice lavender border. How apt. Yeah, go for it, Keith. You won't regret it. Grey Cat Blue, you can be very proud of this achievement. Thank you very much. Yes, no, it's wonderful to look back on now. Blood, sweat and tears went into it at the time, but yeah, really nice to look back on now, and that's of course the way with a lot of these gardens. Tuscan, very nice, thank you. Rebecca said, seen this garden in a magazine, fabulous, wish they'd open it to the public. Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, Rebecca? The magazine was, I'm pretty sure, Nature's Home, the RSPB magazine, who did a double page spread on it, which was wonderful. Chuffed to get in there with that. Mel says, so you use lavender in your planting, how do you prevent it from getting too wet? Well, just as I say, well-drained soils, Mel. So if you've got clay soils and you want lavender, just add a load of sand or sharp grit to it so that obviously the water drains through a lot better. Sharp sand if you can, not building sand because it'll just clag together, but get yourself down to your local builder's merchant or DIY store, get some sharp sand, fork it all in, and get some gravel as well if you want. Now, I mean, these things will literally self-seed in gravel. You can pull seedlings out, when they start growing again. So, yes, well-drained, sandy, gravelly soils is the best thing for getting lavenders established. And lots of sun, Mel, as I say, and you'll do well. KLC PCA, wow, I dream of my yard looking like that someday. Oh, me too. If you ever cross the pond, well, I've been threatening it. There's a few people who've mentioned ponds in the States. Actually, I've got some video work to do for a company in California, which will hopefully go across the States, KLC PCA. I wish I knew your name, actually. Let me know. Who want me to do some videos on gardening for wildlife in the States. So, fingers crossed. You never know. Might be jetting to a land near you in the not-too-distant future when COVID permits, of course. A lot of people bought this book from the States, actually, which is brilliant, and continue to do so, and Australia. And I'm going to give a shout out now to Easy Walks and Hikes, who are in Australia, who can never make the live because I and frustratingly for them, do the live at this time of day. So of course it's like 2 in the morning for them, 3 in the morning. So hi guys, this one's for you when you do catch up with this. So do give them a follow. Some fantastic shots they do of some of their trips around Alaska and other places with some of the bears they've seen. So check out that channel if you haven't already. Donna has said, Gardener's World was how I learned of Butterfly Brothers, bought the book and started in the garden. Thank you, Donna. Yeah, no, I remember you getting in touch on Twitter and that, so nice to know that that episode brought so many people to what I do as a profession. So, yeah, wonderful. Spencer said, absolutely fantastic, Joel. Love the way you blended the formal with the informal. Wish everyone could garden like this. World would be the best place, wouldn't it, just Spencer? Yeah, I dream of a network. See it as a bit like a patchwork quilt across the UK. You know, the more of the squares that we can get as gardens for wildlife, the more this wildlife can move around and the better it's going to be. And worldwide, not just the UK, of course. This is a global issue we're facing. Spencer said, hi mate, can I have your email again? Yeah, if you just drop it through to wildyourgarden, as in at gmail.com, wildyourgarden at gmail.com, Spencer. And yeah, happy to chat through on that one about the garden. Spencer said, have you had a go at Chelsea, Joel? No, I haven't. I've talked about it for years, and I'd love to do a garden at Chelsea, but it's just getting the sponsorship, and I've never really looked into it, to be fair, because I've always been so busy with what we've been doing. So, you know, I mean, anybody out there who fancies sponsoring me to do a garden at Chelsea, I suppose if nothing else, I mean, I wouldn't do it for the workload, that's for sure, but you know, if it was to raise awareness and make a few more gardens wildlife friendly, because the publicity, of course, that Chelsea gets on a global scale is phenomenal. So, yeah, any ideas welcome on that one. If you know anybody who's got tens of thousands of pounds or maybe 100 grand, these gardens cost a hell of a lot to put in with all the time, the labour, the materials. So, anybody who you know who's feeling fairly flush at the moment, give me a shout. Be happy to get a garden put in at Chelsea, no problem at all. Of course, not on this year, and wasn't on yet last year. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing that again next year when it comes on. Keith said, yes, plant list in your book is invaluable. Tell me about it, Keith. The amount of times I reference the plants in the back of my book. It sounds a bit funny, but sometimes I have a bit of a writer's block, shall we say, when I'm designing gardens, and yeah, it's a good one to go back to. Ilse van den Hoven has said, bought your boom, I'm assuming you mean book, this week. Really informative. Thank you very much. Yes, no, I'm so pleased that so many people are buying it around the world. It has now been commissioned in Germany, actually, the first international country to have the book translated, and I believe is on shelves now. I have to check, actually, with Dawn and Kindersley, but yeah, anybody watching from Germany, Wild Your Garden is now officially available in German. So, yeah, great. I'm hoping to get it in French and get it over in France soon as well, and the States. So, fingers crossed. Who knows where the book might go. Tracy has said, in hindsight, planted trees in the wrong spot. They now shade my garden. I would put them in a different aspect, especially fully mature cherry, hopefully having its canopy lifted this summer. Yeah, so trees, when they get bigger, obviously you can lift the canopy to allow more light underneath, to plant more bulbs and things, and semi-shade loving plants such as red campion, foxgloves, and some of the ones I've already mentioned. Yeah, so hopefully that will do you well, Tracy. Jerry has said, let us know if you come to the States. Love your enthusiasm for helping wildlife. Absolutely, Jerry. Yeah, no problem at all. I will, of course, keep you posted. I'm hoping to get there at some point, as I am to India, as I am to so many other places, once this flipping pandemic's gone. Yeah, so Tracy said, more and more TV shows are now thinking of the effect of gardening has on wildlife. Has big change over the last few years. Yeah, of course, Tracy, and it's good to see a shift. Generally, there is a big shift towards this style of gardening. I just hope one day that somebody might be out there and look at this and think, he's worth a punt. We'll give him a TV show because I think a lot of people would enjoy it, and that's not just me, being slightly biased. I think it is a lot more in the fore of our minds now as to how we need to be helping wildlife generally. So I think, yeah, definitely. Anybody out there looking to pitch a TV idea, I'm open to suggestions. Yeah. So what else was I going to say on that? I think they might be doing Chelsea in the autumn this year for the first time ever in its history. I didn't know that, Spencer. I'll be keen to see that. I'll see if they do. That would be good. So, right, well, time is pushing on. So, I am going to now bring you, if I can find it, the butterfly of the week. So bear with me a second, guys. Sorry about this. I should have been better prepared. Oh, I'm open to guesses as to what it's going to be, by the way, if any of you are thinking about it. So, the butterfly of the week this week is I'm waiting for you to tell me, actually. Is this beautiful specimen, which does come out in the spring, so it's just about to come out now. They overwinter as a live adult, so there will be, you know, in sheds at the moment, thinking about opening their wings and coming outside again. So yeah, this is of course the small tortoiseshell butterfly, which are absolutely beautiful, and I really have noticed such a genuine decline in these butterflies over the last 5 to 10 years. You know, sometimes I'm lucky if I see a dozen in a go. You know, which is just, you would used to see them. Oh man, in their dozens and dozens on patches of thistles, creeping thistle when they come out in June. Debbie has said my favourite ever butterfly. Well, fantastic, Debbie. So yeah, I'm gonna play you this little clip of them now, so that you can see it. This is, of course, feeding on a buddleia in the garden, and Keith, yeah, Keith was the first one to get it. So well done, Keith. Yeah, so we do get the large tortoiseshell occasionally, which is a migrant from the continent, and I've never actually seen one, but there are one or two more. I believe they have been breeding now on the south coast in 1 or 2 sites, which is good. But this is a small tortoiseshell, and it's a ridiculously beautiful butterfly, and one that we are all familiar with, I am sure. So most of you will see it early spring. It'll come out round about now, as I say. It'll be starting to think about coming out of sheds and hidden in ivy, where it's spent the last few months as the adult butterfly, so keeping nice and pristine, ready for the spring. And that will be coming out now and looking for nectar sources. So good nectar sources for them are things like lesser celandine, dandelions. So don't cut all your dandelion heads off in your lawn. Let them open out for these butterflies. So they are going to be emerging very shortly as the adult form, as I say, from hibernation, and then going about their life cycle. Now, they will be laying their eggs on nettles. So for those of you that like chopping back nettles, forget it this year. Unless you've got acres and acres of them, they like a decent sized patch in the sun to lay their eggs on. Obviously, because they lay their eggs in clusters, you will of course want to have a lot of larval food plants, shall we say, a lot of leaf for these butterflies to, or for the caterpillars, should I say, to have plenty to munch on. So they will be munching on that through the spring, then pupating at the end of spring and re-emerging again sort of June, July time as the adult again. So basically there's one brood a year. And then those adults will be around for a few weeks in June, July time, and then go straight into hibernation almost, where they will overwinter as the adult form and then emerge the following spring. So yes, quite a nice little easy life cycle to remember. But they are, as I say, reliant upon the nettles that we see in our gardens. Now, if you can, do get some in a pot, because I know it sounds absolutely balmy, but get some nettles in a pot. I promise you, you'll get either them or red admirals or comma butterflies laying their eggs on the nettles. So do have a go at putting some nettles in a pot in a sunny spot if you haven't already. Yeah, I know it's a very random piece of advice, but it works, I promise you. And these really are on the decline. They get parasitized a lot by a specific wasp, the name of which escapes me at the moment. But yeah, they do unfortunately get parasitized a lot. Hence why, like the large whites, they lay their eggs in large numbers to kind of guarantee a few will survive. high mortality rate on the caterpillars, of course, through birds, through parasitic wasps, through mice, everything else. So these things do lay in numbers, and of course, unfortunately, I think one of the reasons for the big decline in these butterflies is the management of our countryside. Now, a lot of nettles, of course, we'll be seen growing along our verges or in dikes, ditches along our roads. But of course, middle of June or May, quite often tractors are out there with flails, smashing them down, and of course, that is then the end of a life cycle, which is so sad to see. So do encourage some nettles into your own garden, please. They can be managed quite well, particularly if they're in a pot. If you don't want to put some in a pot on your patio, put them in a pot in your borders. How about that for an idea? So yeah, small tortoiseshell. There you go. That is the butterfly of the week, and they will be emerging soon. So keep an eye out for them. Final tip on them: if you are going to let them leave your shed door or shed window or outbuilding window or outbuilding door slightly open through the winter months, just to allow them, because you might find some of them kind of flapping and bashing against windows when it gets a bit warmer. And unfortunately, a lot of them die each year from not being able to get out and get some nectar as soon as they wake up, because they've gone into a shed in the autumn or late summer when maybe the doors and windows are open. By the time they go to come out, everything's been shut up for the winter by us humans. So a lot of them, unfortunately, you will see on windowsills, perfect condition, wings folded up, just dead on a windowsill. So do keep your doors and windows open for them in your sheds. Provide a little habitat for them. Also encourage ivy, because they will roost in deep ivy, and sometimes in log stacks as well. Log stacks are good for them. So yeah, do encourage log stacks, because as I say, they will overwinter in them for a few months, a good few months, from sort of July, August time, in some cases through till as I say, March now, so quite a few months. So yes, do provide some habitat and some cover for them. So there you have it, butterfly of the week for you. Now let me just see on a few of the chats before we wrap things up for the day. I've got a bit of an announcement for you in a moment. So Mel said, share the page of my gardening group on Facebook, so hopefully yet more interest. Fingers crossed, Mel, if one or two are joining because of Mel. Thank you very much indeed, Mel. Suzanne said, wouldn't it be great to have a TV series called Wild Your Garden, of course, where you go into people's gardens and advise changes to help wildlife? I'd watch. Well, I've been umming and ahhing about it. I haven't been umming and ahhing. I've been banging the drum for it for a few years, Suzanne, and there's one or two people in the TV industry that are doing the same, so fingers crossed at some point somebody will jump and say, right, let's go for it. Donna said Admiral, which, close, Donna, close. When the wings close, they are similar. They're a little bit smaller than a Red Admiral, but beautiful butterfly. Debbie's favourite ever butterfly. Keith gets it as small talk. Yeah, most of you getting small talk. Well done, whoever guessed it right. Tracy's not seen any in my garden for a very long time. Yeah, well, of course, Buddleia is a really good way of attracting them, Tracy. I don't know how many you've got, but Buddleia they absolutely love. Creeping thistle as well. They really, really love creeping thistle. Seems to come out just as the adults are coming out, or come into flower just as they are. So creeping thistle, leave a small patch. If you don't want to let it go to seed, just cut the heads off before they go to seed once they've finished flowering, of course. James Digby has said, hi, James. He didn't say hi, James, that's me. Are some Buddleia better than others? I think what it comes down to, James, is flowering period. So generally speaking, the Davidii species will be spot on. You've got Dark Night, you've got the Globosa, you've got the white ones, of course. So the Wariana, which are, they're all very good in their own right. They're just the white ones I tend to find flower a little later, so they're kind of July and into August. So they're of course good for later emerging butterflies. But as I said earlier, which I will be doing a video on soon, make sure you cut your Buddleias back on a rotation, or if you've got 2 or 3, don't do them all at once. Stagger the cutting back of them, and when they have finished flowering, cut the heads off, and they will flower again. So again, you're then extending the nectar period even further. So I hope that answers that one, James. But most are pretty good, to be fair. UK amphibians, Buddleias used to be covered in butterflies years ago. Now you don't see many, unfortunately. No, you don't. And if you haven't checked it out, check out my Buddleia the butterfly bush video that I did some months ago now. But if you just search on the channel for butterfly bush, you will see that video is getting quite a lot of traction now that we're coming into spring in general on YouTube. But that covers, oh man, in my last garden, I counted probably 20, 25 butterflies on it at one time of 6 different species. You know, brimstones, gatekeepers, meadow browns. I've seen silverwash fritillaries, ringlets, small tortoiseshell, red admiral. I'm running out, I think. The skippers we use, large skippers certainly use it. Small white and green white and large white will all use it. So yeah, there's a good 17, 18 species of butterfly at least that will use these shrubs. So yes, do try and get some in your garden. Some people say it's invasive, but I don't think so in a garden setting if you let it keep it managed. Camo Dave said, hi Joel, hope you're having a good Sunday. Thanks Camo Dave, nice to see you, thanks for joining us. Keith said, I'm cultivating a patch of nettles in my wildlife corner. Good for you, Keith. The red admirals, of course, will lay in slightly shadier areas. They are a butterfly of the woods, so to speak, a lot of the time. So, yeah. KLC PCA, come on, tell me your name. This is killing me now. I literally just bought your book. Can't wait for delivery. Thank you very much. You didn't have to, but thanks. That's wonderful to hear. Do let me know when it arrives and how it arrives. That would be nice. Rebecca said, how do you stop nettles seeding into the borders? Do you cut them back? Yeah, just cut them back after they've seeded. Because once they come to their seeding period, they're obviously getting a bit leggy. It's going to be July time. So the caterpillars will have hopefully, just check first though, that there aren't any chrysalises or anything of caterpillars on that are pupated on the dead stems themselves. Sometimes red admirals and things, and small tortoiseshells and commas, will often hang from the leaf that they're eating or the stem of the nettle they're on. So check for that first before you clear your nettles back. Comet Scout, if you're new to natives, rewarding, check plants used in the book against a native database that the USDA, because some I've seen in the video are invasive here. Yeah, so I know things like purple loosestrife, for example, are classed as an invasive species in the States. Such a shame, but obviously it does very well in wet areas. And I can understand it. You know, we were talking about this recently in my latest, or one of my videos on goat willow, with a couple of people in Australia saying it is an invasive species over there. So do check some of these species before you install them in your own gardens, of course, with your local databases or your native databases, should I say, which is good. I will promise to get better on my native trees and shrubs and plants all around the world in time. Debbie said, growing nettles in pots, good idea. I have nettles in the shade. I shall dig them up and move them to a sunny location in pots. Thanks for the suggestion, Joel. No worries, Debbie. Let me know how you get on. Hopefully you get some. I hope you do after you've gone to that trouble. KLC PCA, yes, was planning on using it as a reference for my local varieties. Yeah, brilliant. No, do that. Creeping thistle, good. Have several buddleia. Good, Tracy, nice to hear. Kim. Kim. So nice to know your name at last. Apologies if you told me already. My memory's rubbish at the best of times. Suzanne said, great minds, Joel. See my previous comment. Yeah, oh yes. Yeah, no. Fantastic. So, yes, well, I think we are about there. Apologies if I've missed any questions. Hopefully, I'll have a go back through. If there's anything else, then do drop me a comment underneath. If you haven't, I'll be posting, if I haven't answered your question, I'll be posting this live obviously to YouTube, so you can check it out and watch again later if you have missed any of it. So Clive, for example, I know you joined a little bit late, which is absolutely fine. We've all got lives to lead and lives to live even. But yeah, do have a check of the lives because I have uploaded all the previous lives as well to YouTube. So, yes, a bit of an announcement for you guys. Now, I am afraid to say that this will be the last Wild Your Garden Live for a little while. It's just with so many commitments coming up, I am absolutely chock-a-block with consultations, drawings, quotes, designing gardens, talks, online events, and everything in between. And if nothing else, we are coming into the best time of year for me to really get cracking with the camera, and my GoPro's 4K camera and my phone are all just filming non-stop from now until September, October time. So yeah, hopefully the kind of what I'm thinking is I will be starting up the lives again towards the end of the summer, just to enable me to, as I say, bring you guys plenty of content and do a lot more filming. Obviously, I appreciate 3 p.m. is the time that we've been doing these, and it works for a lot of people around the world. But of course, it's almost slap bang in the middle of the afternoon. So a lot of the time, and I have got some works coming up where I will be staying away, all over the country, Scotland, Devon. So I'll be away for a couple of weeks at a time. So it's going to be very difficult for me to keep up with the lives with everything that is going on. Plus, it would be nice now and again to get a few minutes peace to myself in my own garden. So, and I'm sure most of you will be spending a lot more time in your own gardens moving forwards. Just to say, just to stay sane, if you like, and manage the gardens you do have. And yes, so this will be the last episode of Wild Your Garden for this season, shall we say. I'll pick things up again in the autumn when things start getting a bit cooler, and we can, of course, rekindle old flames. And obviously, in the meantime, don't panic. There is tons of content to come, more now than probably there has been over the last 2 months. So yes, do please stay in touch. Everything will be coming at you thick and fast. But I really, really have sincerely enjoyed these sessions. It's been wonderful to see you all coming back and, see how your own gardens have been doing. And hopefully over the last, 2 or 3 months, you guys have learnt a bit from these live sessions and will no doubt continue to do so from some of the videos that I'll be bringing you. Everything on the transformations, the individual gardens that I'm creating, to individual species of plant you should be planting, ponds, meadows, everything in between. I've got so much content coming out of my eyes this time of year. It's unbelievable. So a big thank you to you all. Give yourselves a pat on the back, and for supporting for me and the channel and giving up your time on the weekends. So it's really, really much appreciated. And do get in touch. As I say, if you've got any comments, any questions in the meantime, do let me know. Drop them in the usual channels, either on Twitter, Instagram, where obviously I'm posting, daily as well, and on the YouTube, of course, in the comments below the videos, or drop me an email at wildyourgarden@gmail.com. Be great to stay in touch. I'm obviously here as a resource for you guys as and when I can, in between everything else, just to help you create these habitats for wildlife, which again is why we're all here and why you're watching this. So yeah, I can only say thank you so much again for all the support you've given. It's been brilliant just to contact, connect with you all. I mean, I'm sure we've kind of all needed it over the last few months, and year even. Crikey, it's been a year really, hasn't it, since COVID kicked off. So, I really do want you all to stay well and, keep in touch. I've made some wonderful, no doubt, lifelong friends on here from all around the world. Too many to name just now, but all the regulars coming back, you know who you are, and do stay in touch. As I say, and again, if there's anything you think that I should be doing in terms of a video, then do drop me a line. As I say, any suggestions and that sort of thing. I'm happy to look at different things. Obviously, I try and cover as much content as I can, but because it's such a broad spectrum, there's so much to cover. So do stay in touch. That's the main thing I will say. And for those of you, again, that are interested in a wildlife gardening course, an online course, then I will be looking at live courses, of course, once things get better, maybe towards the end of summer or into the winter, when, of course, it's a good time to be thinking about your garden again. So maybe if we can, a live course in the UK back end of the year. Let's keep fingers crossed. But in the meantime, if you're interested in an online course, as I say, drop me a line, wildyourgarden@gmail.com. There's case studies as well on the website, Hazelwood website, which is my company, Hazelwood Landscapes. So hazelwoodlandscapes.com, and you'll find loads of case studies on there, including the one on Gardener's World, which is a nice case study you can go and read about in a bit more detail. Yes, so I really hope you've enjoyed today, a bit of an extended version. But yes, it's been wonderful to speak to you all again. And as I say, keep in touch, keep safe, keep sane as best you can. And I'll just go back one last time through the chats just to check that there aren't any questions I have missed. Clive said, beautiful garden you have, Joel. Stay safe, bud. I will. I certainly will, Clive. Yes, do drop me a line, Clive. Let's stay in touch. Lynn said, we will miss you every other Sunday. Yeah, well, I'll miss you too, Lynn, and everybody else. And but I shall be back, I believe, as one man said in a couple of movies in the 80s and 90s, naming no names. Donna has said, we'll miss our fortnightly chats with you guys, but it's understandable. We'll follow on Twitter and watch the YouTube channel. Thanks for giving us these Sunday chats. Absolute pleasure, Donna. And as always, stay in touch. I keep saying it, but do stay in touch on the channel. I keep the chats open as best I can underneath the videos, so you can always message me on there, and the wildyourgarden@gmail.com, of course, as well as the email. Keith said, gutted but understand. I'll keep posting updates of anything interesting I find this year. Well, again, Keith, you owe me some Adonis Blues. So, I expect to hear from you on that one. Drop me an email, and I'd be delighted to get to Kent and come and see some in the summer. And do a video. Who knows? Let's get that organised. Time is racing away. It's already nearly April. Flipping heck. Camo Dave said, tagged you in a post on Twitter. Oh, thanks, Camo Dave. I shall take a look at that shortly. As soon as I've got these uploaded to YouTube, of course. So, if you've missed or just joining us now, then don't worry. These will be on YouTube very soon. Rebecca said, that's absolutely fine, Joel. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate it. Yeah, and I will. I will keep you all posted as to my regular updates, of course, and everything that I'm doing. Grey Cat Blue, all the best for all your work, Joel. Thank you. And I will get to see you at some point, as soon as I can get back to my little place in France when I'm allowed to do so. I will no doubt drop into Brittany and see you. So yeah, looking forward to that. Very much missing France at the moment. So would be wonderful to come and see you. Andy said, really enjoyed them. Thanks very much for giving us your time. Learned loads, Andy. No worries at all, Andy. Andy is a fellow wildlife gardener. So good to see a fellow wildlife gardening champion on the channel and singing the song for wildlife gardening. Comics Gal said, glad I caught this one before your break. Thank you for the process. Your videos or ponds. No worries at all. Do check out the previous Wild Garden Lives. As I say, there are another 4 on the channel since January. And said, thank you, Joel, for the time and effort you put into the lives. I look forward to join them again in the autumn. No problem at all, Anne. Hopefully we can speak before then about potential course. And Lynn said, we miss you every other Sunday, but quite understandable. We will all be busy putting all your ideas into practice. I sincerely hope so, Lynn. Yeah. If I don't have weekly updates from all of you as to what you're doing in your own gardens, I shall be royally offended. Trying to get some time for just you. I will do my best, Lynn. I will, yes. No, I must. I'm my own worst enemy at times for just keeping on going, and then it all gets a bit heavy sometimes, but the main aim is for the benefit of wildlife. So, Jerry said, glad you're so busy. Enjoy all of your videos and your amazing wildlife gardens. Thank you so much, Jerry. And I will be sure to drop you a line, of course, if I'm heading stateside. UK Amphibians, brilliant work, Joel. Take care, mate. No worries. Will do, Bob. Mel said, been nice to see everyone helping wildlife, and thanks, Joel. Hasn't it just? I've heard so many things from you guys, back from Tracy's frogs that were frozen in a pond a few weeks ago through to all the different things you guys have been experiencing. It's wonderful to hear different stories. I like to think that I know a reasonable amount about wildlife gardening, but I sure don't know it all, far from it. So nice to see your experiences too. Debbie said, we'll miss you, but totally understand. Something to look forward to the autumn. I couldn't agree more, Debbie. And no doubt you guys will be so busy in your own gardens, enjoying wildlife. And that'll be great to see your gardens as they progress. So do keep in touch. Donna said, ooh, an online course would be great. Yeah, wouldn't it? I'm thinking it, Donna. So, keep in touch. Mr. Grey Cat Blue, top man, take care. No problem at all. Will do. I will get to see you before long. Kim, only my second live chat, but I really enjoyed it. Only so many hours in the day. We'll definitely watch your YouTube videos and read my new book. Thank you, Kim. That'll be wonderful. I look forward to hearing your reviews, shall we say. Criticisms and all. Let me know. Suzanne, no problem, Joel. You're a busy guy with a family too. Thanks again for all you do. So for wildlife, and fingers crossed for the online course. Enjoy the summer. Of course, Suzanne. Thank you. Keith said, you're an inspiration. Thank you for your guidance. No problem at all. It's just wonderful to see those comments, guys. It means the world to me, and thank you so much. I will absolutely keep banging the drum for wildlife gardening, as always, and I hope you guys do too. Feel free again to share all the videos on the channel with friends, family, local groups. Let's get this as big as we can. The more people we can encourage on board and help to create this wildlife gardening community, the better wildlife has a chance of surviving. So thank you very much, guys. I will see you in no time at all, and do keep in touch. As I say, it will be a delight to see what you're doing with your own gardens, but keep wilding them. And if you've got any questions, as always, fire them at me. I will be delighted to answer. So thank you, guys. Take care, and I will see you soon. Cheers.